Hey guys, welcome back to episode 16 of the Constant Agitation podcast. My name is Jimmy, if you're new here, and I'm always joined by Eva.
Hi guys.
How are you doing?
Very good. 16 episodes already. Every
Yeah.
time now, I keep losing track of how many it is. 16.
Yeah,
Nice. Sweet 16.
is it?
That's just they normally say. Yeah.
That's true. How's everything with you guys? Our regulars in the chat. Very happy to see you. Hi, Tim. And hi, Chris. Chris is talking about the cranking of this one.
We'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. If you didn't watch the 8-hour long torture that we streamed a couple of days ago.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been an intense streaming week,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah. Hey, CM.
Hello.
Hey, Eli. Welcome, everybody.
So today we're actually having less delay between us talking and people writing things about us, right? I think we might be more connected with our audience today.
Yeah, I think today I did change a lot of things in the streaming setup, so it might be better, or it might completely fall apart. So, so let us know if you think it's falling apart. If it's better, we hope you enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, it's we're still doing it at the same time. We actually pushed it 1 hour since when we first started doing this
Yeah.
podcast. And look how bright. This is the daylight outside. Super bright.
Yeah, I'm almost completely.
Yeah, the background
Blown.
overblown because the light on the inside cannot light you up
No.
strong enough. So halfway through, we might have to scramble and run and change the camera settings.
Yeah, hopefully the light will keep up somewhat okay. We'll see.
Cool.
So how are you this week?
I'm good. As I said, been losing my mind online on the stream. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think we were thinking about just giving a short update that we released the video after
Yeah.
quite some time, right?
That's true. If you haven't seen the new video, I'm sure all of you who are here with us right now, but if you're watching later, we put a new video out. We hope
Yeah.
you enjoy it. It was, we aim to make it fun and silly. We hope it made you laugh and entertaining. If anything, I'm not an expert on anything. So, yeah, the goal is to have fun.
Yeah, and I think you had fun also shooting it, even though it was a little bit challenging.
Definitely, yeah. I saw your comment, Chris, and I want to say that I don't know if I would try it again or not. I had doubts about it, if I'm going to give it another go. But I actually want to shoot it properly, like the whole roll this time, and have more
Yeah.
purpose with it. Hopefully, I got one 120 version of it,
Mm-hmm.
and so we will see how that will behave.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also, I didn't tell you about this, but we brought up last time the lens that I
Mhm.
used in the video,
Yeah,
and that it's not compatible.
with the body.
Yeah. So I was thinking that I'm going to convert it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grind it. So if you guys are interested, maybe I will either do a video detailing how I did it, because we tried to find something online. There was some text describing the process.
Yeah, so basically it's transforming an all Nikon lens into a way that we can see both the aperture, if anything, through the viewfinder, but also make it so there is a little latch that would push apart on the camera, so the metering will change.
Yeah,
when
because there's a ring on the newer Nikons that kind of have to move, and it moves with the lens.
Yeah,
The old lens is not compatible with that, and it
With
keeps
that
it
one.
in its place. It doesn't twist it.
so basically it's shooting at wide open all the time.
Yeah, the only way to meter properly is to do aperture preview.
Yeah,
So if you click the silver button, or on that camera it's silver,
yeah.
but if you click the aperture preview, it will close down the blades.
Then
And
you
then
can
you
make a
can,
reading, and then you will know how much you had to spoil for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about grinding that lens. Maybe we will,
You want to grind some more?
yeah, I got the grinding bug now. I think it's all that dust I inhales. It got to my brain.
For the people that were on that stream and they saw us in the end of the stream after 8 hours succeed with the cranking, we kind of found a way that it will work consistently. We
Yeah.
have to say that we have been shooting a little bit more with it and it still works. So it's good.
Yeah, no, I recovered fully. from the cranking on the last session.
Now we only have to crank 10 times one way and 10 times the other way,
Yeah.
and it works.
It works nice. We made
We
it
took
work.
some nice photos, right? I don't know where they are.
I have no
around there.
idea. There's a bunch of them over here.
Yeah.
There's
There?
a lot of empty frames because somebody miscounted how many frames were left in the other Instax when we took the. Yeah, I don't know which is which, but yeah. Enough about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's 8 hours of that people
That's
can go
true.
watch.
That's true.
You know, gonna end it right here.
That's true.
What else do we have planned for today?
We have planned to show 2 different photographers
Yes.
and one project in particular from one of the photographers that we're going to bring up because I really, really, really love that project in particular of this photographer. He's a Korean photographer. Before this, we also have to say that we got a suggestion on Instagram in our weekly ask for what do you want us to talk about, and it was another South Korean photographer, but we didn't have enough time to go through the work, so we might just put it in the pile of people to cover on future episodes. But we are substituting that with another South Korean artist, and I am not sure I will be able to pronounce the name properly. Do you want to give it a try? Because I think you're good at this.
You think?
Yeah.
It's Seung-Hwan or Wan Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Seung-Hwan Oh. I think we can put the...
I read online that he is also goes by the name of Tonio, so that's a bit easier.
Let's call him Tonio then.
Yes. Seung-Hwan Oh, I think. And I wanted to bring up this particular project. Actually, I have forgotten about it. I think it was published in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, or at least the first time I knew about it was 2014. It was in the middle of my PhD. I was working with microbiology, as I say sometimes, and I completely forgot about it. And then the other day in the Discord, we were having a conversation in the film channel that really derailed into me talking about working in the lab and working with bacteria.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, no, wait, coming back, this is too off topic, going back to film stuff. And then I remember, bacteria and film stuff. And I remember about this project, so I just put the link there so people could see it. And this project is really, really cool because what this artist has done here is that he has done portraits of people in slide film. And then he has put that film, he has inoculated that film or seed that film with mold and put it into an incubator for weeks, months, and years in some cases, and let the microbes eat the film away, and then take it out, and then scan it and do the rest of the work. So what you're seeing right here is...
This one looks... anybody who watches anime will probably be familiar with Tokyo Ghoul. And if you don't, I'm sorry, but I love it's one of my favorite animes. And this has given me very strong Tokyo Ghoul vibes.
For me, it reminds me of the Joker because it's the same colors.
That's true.
Like the purple thing and the green hair and the...
Yeah.
Like if you don't really know what it is behind, which is kind of the point of this project, I would say like Joker vibes. I haven't seen Tokyo Ghoul, so...
Once you said it, I saw it as well because of the colors, like the green hair specifically.
So this artist, he actually is a microbiologist as well, and that's where he came out with the idea of trying to bring up the living and the not living, which would be the film, and just he uses different kind of molds. And one thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit is that in some places when they were covering this work, they were saying that he was using bacteria, and for what I could see in his website and in other places that describe the work, it's not really bacteria, it's a microbe, but it's mold. For example, the one that you can find on bread, or the one that you can find on oranges when you leave them so long time, or lemons and so on. So he just puts it there, puts it in the incubator, and let it do its thing. For what I read at the beginning, it was a very much random thing. He would just put it on top, and then it would take weeks or months to get a result and then see what it would come out of it. With time, he kind of learned how to put the microbes in the different images, and then he will have an idea more or less how these microbes would behave with the material in there, but still there's a lot of serendipity, whatever. It's not really very controlled. The numbers that I have found, which is also kind of crazy, is that out of 500 frames, normally one comes out in a way that he's happy with, or that it means something with the thing that you are seeing.
I have to say that these photos, like when I first saw them, the first thing that came to my mind was film souping. Like this is a very,
Yeah.
and I think it's a similar process. Like when people soup film, usually they're using organic material like vinegar, wine, tea, lemon, and I
Mm-hmm.
think somehow, I mean, I don't know about lemon, but I'm thinking maybe like wine. You know more than I do. Do you think
I mean,
wine or tea are gonna?
I don't know if it's the same processes because what I understand was
I'm
happening.
not saying it's the same process. I'm saying it's similar because after you soup the film,
Mm-hmm.
you have to let it dry,
Mm-hmm.
and that drying period,
Mm-hmm.
after you introduce the organic material somehow, I know you kind of like heated it up, so most bacteria won't survive in that heat. Or
No, and I don't think. I mean, lemon juice or tea should not really have any bacteria there either. There is not.
but
And
then like in the air around it, is there anything that could like seep in and?
but it
Like,
wouldn't have enough time to do it, right? These microbes really grow super slow. The thing that is happening here is apparently the microbes are eating, really feeding from the film, and that takes time because they have to grow, and they grow kind of slowly. Unless if you have it in higher temperatures or at the adequate temperatures, they might grow a little bit faster. So, but what I think it might actually be similar in the way that when these microbes eat away, they also excrete things. They produce byproducts, right? That might be acidic or might be somehow doing the same thing to the colors as the souping does to the colors. Because I think the souping, what it does is just a specific type of chemical reaction. It just changes things around, and you have, wine with the tannins or the tea with the tannin, or whatever it is, that it will react differently with the things in the emulsion. So I think it might be not only the bacteria eating away whatever is there, but also the byproducts of the growth of the microbes in themselves will produce these effects.
I see.
I think that's what's going on. I really like them.
I do too.
Not only because I love how they look. I mean, these modifications in the colors, I just find it very pleasing to look at. Eli was saying they look like galaxies. There is a lot of organic feeling in them, which I think it goes really well with the fact that the photos are portraits of people. But at the same time, it brings. So what this artist is trying to do with this is how the project is described is implementing microbial growth on film as a means to explore impermanence of matter as well as the material limitation of photography, right? We normally see photography as the means to stop time and conserve and preserve it and have it for future generations to go back to look into it. He's kind of pushing those boundaries that is like, okay, maybe this medium is not as permanent, as untouchable as we thought, although we do know that film is kind of sensitive, right? The way we work with it, the way that we develop it with very precise temperatures, it is not something that is robust in any means, right? But in a way, we use this medium to create pieces of time that will prevail, so to speak, right? But then he kind of brings it back and is like, no, maybe film like us is impermanent as well. Like we are limited. We are here only for a short while. Things fade away, and this is a way to kind of bring together the living part, the portrait, and then the unliving part, which is the film that you use as a medium. So I think it's brilliant.
I really think it's cool, but I also, you mentioned something in the beginning that I think is very essential when we're looking at a project like this, is the amount of photographs that this artist experimented with, and how small is the selection in comparison to the bulk of the work.
Yeah.
And obviously there was the part that you mentioned about him figuring out how to deal with this material and deal with how to place everything and how to set everything up in order to kind of have a more controlled effect. So I think this is like something important to consider when one is trying to do something like that, because there are mixed opinions about film souping. I think it works for some images, but that's the thing. Like there is not necessarily a controlled way of applying that effect to a single image, because you put the whole film in there. Maybe you can post-development, because I know souping happens pre-development.
Yeah.
This one is post.
After.
So
Yeah.
after the slide is developed,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned it's slide film.
It's a slide film in medium format.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense
Yeah.
to go that way if you're trying to do something like that. And then applying the bacteria on the visible slide. You're not doing it in the dark or anything.
No. Mm-hmm.
All right. It's really cool. A lot of these effects. It's almost like a lot of these images are giving me multiple exposure vibes.
Yeah, actually.
But it's just something that is completely alien.
It is
In a way,
yeah,
like instead of having branches or whatever people use for effects and multiple exposures,
you have
here you have these organic just
it's like a
patterns that
boom
yeah.
It's like and yes, I think like the fact that it reminds us of galaxies, it means something. Like in nature there are repeating patterns. The way that these microbes might grow through the film and attack the film, it might be resemble of fractals and how galaxies are organized and the universe, right? Like, so it can be from the very, 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 very big, which is the universe, to the very, 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 very small, which is how these microbes behave and grow, which is, to me, it's just so beautiful, right? Like, I actually, when I defended my PhD in microbiology, I bought a book about the universe as a present to my boss because I wanted to give him, the opposite perspective on life, because we are so into these tiny things. Okay, now let's look at the big, and there are so many things in common as well. So
yeah, I'm sure a lot of us have seen those like extreme zooms where like you start within a small biological thing, like I don't know, like the fabrics in someone's eye or in any cell, basically, the small things that are connected there, the atoms. And then you zoom out all the way and then you see like the cities and planets. And then when you hit the galaxies and the bigger view of the observable universe, it sort of looks the same again.
As the very zoom in and zoom out, yeah.
This project is a very cool conceptual project.
Yeah.
And I really like it. I really like the freedom of like what can one do. Because we do obsess a lot of times, like as photographers, and a lot of the people that we talk to, we're always obsessing about sharpness, about exact colors, and this one is like a breath of fresh air. That is like,
right, it's like,
and I'm sure there was a lot of detailed work into making this.
I mean, I don't think
it's about breaking free from it. At one point, it's like, okay, now I'm gonna place the bacteria on this slide,
and let it
and just it's gonna do what it's gonna do. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like everything is very well thought through up to the moment where you just let it be for what it is, right? And then you come back to it, and then you say, do I like it? Do I not like it? Doesn't mean anything. Like, I mean, 0.2% of all the slides that he made is something that he considers worth being part of the project and being shown, which means a lot. There's a lot of probably things that it just like, it's eaten so much that you cannot recognize what it is behind. Maybe the patterns just are not pleasing. So I think it's bringing these things both, which is how artistically pleasing it is with the concept behind it, and then kind of mash it and bring it together. But I don't know, I love it. It's something that I wanted to really bring up to people here.
It's cool. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. Hello, everybody who just joined. Hi, Dani. Hi, Cherie. Nice to have you guys.
So yeah, Tim is asking, so did he apply the bacteria to slide copies or the original slides? No, the original slides. He didn't do copies. He on the original developed slide, he put the bacteria or the
does
mold.
it specifically say that, or you didn't see any word mentioning copy?
I never mentioned. So the artist collects mold deposits in the emulsion side of the developed medium format color reversal film and places it in a homemade incubator. Before the mold can totally devour the film, he removes it to reveal the residual turmoil. The process is wholly unpredictable, and only 0.2% of thousands of images have been included in the final body of work.
So there is no confirmation of any kind, but it doesn't mention copies. If
no,
that answers the question.
No, because I mean, if there are copies made on a slide that is developed, because it says he puts it on the emulsion side, which means it's a slide. So
that's true.
And I mean, conceptually, it wouldn't make sense that it's copies, because it will take away a lot of the key part of this project.
Yeah.
At least to me.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. I think the fact that you have to kind of surrender.
Yeah, it's like
To
you are gonna
the-
lose that image. You might lose it.
Yeah.
The same way that lives are lost every day, in a way. I think this is what it means. It's like it's unpredictable. You don't know what thing is gonna work, what thing is not gonna work, and when is it gonna end. So to me, if he would make copies and we have hundreds of the same image, and then that would take so much away from the meaning of it.
I agree. I think it also speaks to the fact that choosing film as a medium, I mean, could have made a digital image and then printed it somehow.
In an acetate or something,
Yeah,
and put it.
and,
Yeah.
So I think the fact that we also, because of the lack of like super fast burst modes and stuff like that, when you take a film photo, you're sacrificing all of the other split seconds before and after.
Mm-hmm.
So I think poetically speaking, this whole thing goes together very nicely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's a lot of poetry involved as well in the conceptualization of this project. I tried to read the text.
Yeah, you were trying to read the one from the newer project,
Yeah.
which is I couldn't really understand it, and I studied evolution. It's the one that is called Camouflage.
Should we
I
click
know
on
if
that one?
we can just click on it, and I don't think there's any no safe for work page. Maybe I don't think so.
This one is pretty cool. I actually really like this one as well.
Yeah. So what it says there is this series is inspired by the notion of the first advent of vision in life on Earth around 443 million years ago. And I tried to read the text, which was, I don't know how to even describe it. It was very heavy in concepts that you have to think a lot how you put them together. It's, like sometimes art reviewers are very heavy in their the descriptions. But I think, or at least how I see the project, is that that things evolve, so as you see, there's nothing that is super clear what it is, right?
It's a lot of impressions.
It's a lot of impressions, and it's like, and I think if he refers to the beginning of life, then I guess it's like a look back to what things have been through, I guess, like and evolved through so many years of life.
This one, it reminds me so much of, do you know what I'm going to say?
Westworld.
Yes.
Yes.
If you've seen Westworld, or you could just see the intro, the music is really beautiful. I sometimes
It's
just
really
like to
nice,
listen
yeah.
to it. So yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. The intro, what do you call it?
Opening.
The opening video stuff
Mhm.
when the series start. It's a lot of this milky material and like stuff coming in and out of it. This one is very reminiscent of that.
And yeah, so I mean, I don't think I understand this project as the artist has intended by reading what I read and seeing. But of course, art is also subjective. So what does it mean to me? How do I relate the name Camouflage, knowing that it's about evolution on Earth and what I'm seeing? I can make it my own meaning, I guess.
I think I can somehow relate to the meaning in this one in the sense of abstraction is a sort of camouflage,
Mm-hmm.
In a way, like
Yeah, because you're not seeing the details, right? So
Yeah.
then it's easier to pass inadverted in a sense.
yeah, but then when you see like the gears stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at a part of a machine. So like you look at this and it is a machine of some sort,
Yeah.
but you have no more information to guide your
Yeah,
like,
the
there's-
understanding of what it is.
because like resolution, when we think of the word resolution,
Mm-hmm.
it's about, we always think of like, not necessarily everybody, but often think about the detail in a single image, or like, like now you're looking at this, it's either high resolution or blurry, but also you can look at a thing with high resolution and low resolution with your eyes.
When you're going super in detail or more. open
Yeah,
up,
so like if you're standing in front of a mountain and all you can see of it is a small wall basically, or section of the mountain in front of
Mhm.
you, you're looking at that mountain in low resolution,
Mhm.
even though you're seeing more detail in that section, which you might think, oh, but I'm seeing high resolution, I can see every single blade of grass.
Mhm.
But no, there's so much of the mountain that you're not seeing.
Yeah, so it's it's abstract in
Resolution
a sense.
works in weird ways when
That's
you're
true.
trying to describe what you're looking at.
Mhm.
So I think that's how I relate the camouflage. It's like we're obscuring a lot of the resolution
And the context around
that
it.
will tell us the story of
Mhm.
what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice, thank you. Because I was a little bit confused as well.
It's funny that I understand more just from looking at the images than reading the text, because I couldn't even keep up with the first line.
I mean, as
I'm
I
not
said,
blaming the text. It's my fault.
it's subjective, right? Like, it is what we perceive in a sense.
Right.
But a very interesting artist, and
very beautiful pictures.
He doesn't have anything else than this. I've been going through the interwebs. I couldn't find. The Instagram has only some photos from the Impermanence and the bacterial mold project.
This is one of my favorites of everything we looked at. I think this might be the favorite.
Yeah. I also like the green one.
The green one?
The one with, it looks like they're like leaves or something. I don't really know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's very... very cool to look at. These are beautiful to put anywhere.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you like them? Do you not? Let us know.
Do you like conceptual photography?
I do. I like abstract stuff. I don't necessarily like all conceptual. Like the stuff that is very like set up. Some of it works. Some of it... I think it depends on the concept. I just find abstract images are easier to enjoy, even if I don't know what they're about. Because a big part of it is showing the beauty in a frame, using the colors and the shapes.
Without having to mean anything else.
Yeah.
I know, but there is something about using photography to explore concepts that I also find very interesting, because I love photography. So the fact that you can use still images to explore a specific concept that sometimes is difficult to grasp, or that it kind of brings me closer to it. I can understand it better when it's actually explained through photographs.
Yeah,
I feel like, but I'm a visual
agree.
person. So
Samesies.
yeah.
All right. So you wanna jump to the next photographer of today?
Yes, we can go ahead.
This was actually recommended by
2 people actually.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I think someone is in the chat. Ted he's the one who sent me 2 photographers, right? Yeah. And it's one of them.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody who's listening or watching. If you have any favorite photographers that we haven't talked about yet, let us know. We do have our personal favorites that we still didn't mention, but it's also nice to mix it up and get to know you guys and learn about your taste as well.
And get to know more photographers that we don't know, which I really love.
Exactly. All right, so let's jump to the Magnum gallery first. What do you think? So we're going to talk about Martin Parr. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to tell us about Martin?
What I'm going to tell you, he's a very interesting photographer, I would say. Mm-hmm. I have seen his photos before briefly. I didn't know of him as a photographer before I started looking to bring it to the podcast, to be honest. He's still active, as you can see there in the Magnum. It says available for work. Mm-hmm. And it's been somewhat a revolutionary photographer, especially in the British arena of photography. Mm-hmm. And he is, as well as Joel Meyerowitz that we talked last week, a pioneer in color work. Mm-hmm. And he was heavily influenced by Meyerowitz and others in the US, which were the ones really starting. And then he was in the UK and he's like, I also want to try this. And his photography is pretty iconic. The style that he has is readily recognizable, and some people say like either you love it or you hate it, not only how it looks but also what he does with the photography in means of what is he trying to communicate and what topics is he trying to explore. And I really like that the Magnum had really chosen very nice color scheme to show the photos together, right? It's it's a good curation there. His photos are characterized for being heavily saturated and very evenly lit, I would actually call it. And it's not a style that you see very often in at least photojournalism and famous or popular photographers all around. He is also a book collector. He loved to photo book collector, I must say. He used to love to just gather photo books throughout his life, and he recently gave out his collection to the Tate Gallery, I believe I read. And he also has published a lot of books. So not only have exhibitions all around the world, of course, but a lot of books from the late 70s up to now. He's been really active.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess here we're having a taste of the work that he's done and he's still doing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing this, how would you describe his photography?
I mean, I think a lot of it is like funny. Like a lot of these photographs are funny.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, like they make me smile. Like it always like there is something going on. Like that one with the baby.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
this series, for example, I really love this series.
This is one of the newer work, yeah.
And it's I think, what was it called?
Selfie to death. Death of selfie.
Death by Selfie.
Death by selfie.
I think we saw it here on his website.
In the recent.
Yes.
I have to say his website is pretty unique. The way that the menu is built up, it really goes very well with
Check out these thumbnails. I mean, there is humor
in it.
built in. It's fun. I really like those photos, just capturing people in the moment of taking the selfie. And I like the collection that he decided to share, in the sense that there are different people in different places of different cultures, as you can see as I'm scrolling through. But they all have this like universally recognized gesture or pose or action that we all do, and we all kind of find silly in a way. Like everybody's a bit self-conscious when they're taking a selfie in public. True. You know, and the fact that he shows that and he went and documented, and I really like how different the people look in the photos, and they seem in different places.
So it's like an inclusive thing that puts that all at shame, basically. I think his photography, one might like it more or less aesthetically speaking, but I think that he has done a very good job of like the way he describes his photography is that he's trying to constantly explore the difference between the mythology of a place and the reality of it. And I think his photography, as cringy as it could be, it just shows us that life is cringy, that the way that people behave can be extremely cringy and ridiculous at times, and that's why we see these photos as being fun photographs in a sense. Mm-hmm. But he also mentions that he makes serious photographs disguised as entertainment, that's kind of part of his mantra, and that he makes pictures that are acceptable to find the audience, but deep down there's actually a lot going on that is not right in the face. And if you want to read it in the photos, then it's there for you to read it. So it's not only that he's trying to be entertaining and fun, that this is the part that we are all seeing and getting right away, but it also means more, because these photos are actually real, you know. This is life. What you are seeing there is things that are happening, right? And then from there you can make the analysis that you want to make.
A lot of these photos, you probably noticed, not all of them, but a lot of them, they have a on-camera flash.
Yeah, he works mostly with a ring flash, because he wants to get this macro, super saturated kind of feeling, and also avoid weird shadows. So that's why he uses a ring flash around the lens barrel. That's one of the things that he feels more comfortable with. The website has a very nice frequent asked questions where you can get to know about him and his way of doing photography as well. And back in the days when he was working with film, he was using mostly consumer film, because he likes that it's more saturated and it gives that vibe that he's looking after, which I think it actually makes sense also conceptually. He's photographing the people. Why not to use a film that is a people's film?
I agree, because a lot of these photos, they feel like they were, not all of them, but some of those photos, like they're party photos or like gatherings and stuff like that. It seems like it was taken by a family member or somebody within the group that was able to. And I think this is something very cool about incorporating into street photography, because street photography a lot of times is very intimate, it's very close, like you're up in people's faces basically, and you're breaking this social distance that you have to keep as a stranger on the street, right? And I think the fact that he went that way makes a lot of sense, that who would be this close if it wasn't for somebody
who's close,
who's within the group. And that kind of creates this false narrative, because in a way that it's not true. It's the same guy. It's Martin Parr walking around taking photos of all of these strangers. But in a way, his photo of these strangers feels more familiar
Yeah.
than it was taken by, like, let's say, a black and white film or something that is more polished.
Yeah, or more curated also. Compositions or something I think in his professionalism he brings the amateur feeling in it as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that also adds to the fun factor of it, the humor that exists in a lot of these shots. Maybe we should jump to look at more specific
projects.
Yeah, projects. What do you recommend we go into next?
I don't know any of those. We saw the selfie thing. I mean, these ones are from different places. This is the most recent one, which is actually during the pandemic, I believe.
No, this is Blackpool.
But I think if you read in the bottom, does it say something?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's the one. Photographs from Paris trip to Blackpool in September 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah. Hi, the new people that join us. We have JC, Kobe, and Cedric is here. And CM is mentioning that he makes good interviews with photographers in his YouTube channel.
Oh, I didn't know he has a YouTube channel.
I didn't either.
Cool, we'll check it out.
That we check it out for sure.
Awesome. Maybe he'll be down to talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We would love to talk to him about his work.
Yeah. It would be cool to know the stories behind some of the pictures. And
don't worry, JC, we are not really a sequential podcast, so if you have not heard the previous episode, is okay, you can be here with us today. And
I think, speaking of the previous episode, you forgot to mention something for the second time.
True. Yeah, which has to do a little bit about what we are talking today about this photographer being, on the humor side of photography. I forgot to mention when we were talking about Elliot Erwitt that he actually has an alter ego, which let me just pull out the information here. So here, where is it? Erwitt created an alter ego, the beret-wearing and pretentious contemporary artist André S. Solidor, which abbreviates to US, from the French colonies in the Caribbean. He uses this character to satirize the excess of contemporary photography and published the book The Art of André S. Solidor under his pseudonym, and it's photos about commercial photography and that type of thing. So this kind of tells you a little bit about Elliot's personality and how fun he actually is. He has one book published, and it's actually on that name. It's not his.
Andres.
Yeah, Andres S. Solidor, aka us.
So funny.
Yes.
So I'm assuming these were shot on digital. Back to Martin Parr. These images, because you said something about when you were reading in the frequent asked question page on his website. He mentioned that he uses consumer film to get these like popping saturated colors.
Yes.
But then there was a second part to that question,
which is, now that you shoot digital, do you alter your colors on Photoshop? And he says that no, that he tries to use flash and whatever he can on camera to bring up the colors. And actually he uses Canon. I wanted to tell you live.
All right, I'm not gonna comment about that.
I mean, I know I can make a good analogy here, which is in film he was using consumer film, and in digital he went to Canon.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay quiet. Cedric, if you wanna say something, I know I agree with you before I even read it.
Kobe is saying, I read your Spanish. Es lindo saber que hablas español. Sí, hablo español. Gracias. And so I was kind of funny that he actually shoot Canon. And when I saw that, it's like, I'm gonna not tell you, I will tell you when we're in the, in the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't mention that before.
But yeah, I think as you guys were saying, it's fun. It's fun to look at his photos, and they are, I think, a very nice documenting work of the world that we live around. He has done a lot of work on tourism and mass tourism as well. So kind of denouncing that, there is it's silly how much people are traveling around just for the sake of being tourists, and
Mhm.
how everything is massified by tourists, and before the pandemic, of course. So he has done a lot of work on that as well. And one of the earlier works that kind of was brought up to the general attention, it was the documenting of the social classes in the UK back in the 80s as well.
Mhm.
They're on the books if we go to the books later. So that's I don't remember the names right now. My brain is not really working properly.
Yeah. I mean,
Cedric is saying 5DS are though. It's not models that we can get mad about. I read in his website he's using a Canon 5D Mark IV, which is not that out of the crazy thing.
yeah. No, usually the joke, for those of you who are not in on it, is that we like to hate on Canon cameras, and for many reasons. Like, we can talk about it in length if you want, but we do also agree that Canon cameras, in the professional line at least, they're still good cameras. They do have some of the Canon issues that I personally have issues with, like the fact that the way they look, there's something about the colors, something about the contrast, something about the dynamic range,
Which is what Martin likes, apparently.
and I like it. I think they make good pictures. Even the entry level cameras,
Mhm.
I do think they make good pictures. I'm not complaining so much about it. The thing that although I just don't like the way they look, because they look all the same all the time, everywhere, everybody who shoots them, and it kind of like dictate how you edit in a way that you can't really break out of. When you're shooting something like Olympus, for example, you can go anywhere with it, and there's not necessarily a very like telling factor that, oh, this was shot of it with Olympus. Nikon, Fuji. I mean, Fuji, they give you very nice colors out of the box, but then like, why would you want to change those? You know, like they're awesome. They're really beautiful. So I understand it. You know, I haven't played so much with Fuji files, but I know I like the way they look. I like sometimes I like the way the Canon look. The other thing that I hate on, and that applies across the board to all the models, is the ergonomics.
Oh yeah.
That
yeah.
wheel,
Layout.
that thumb wheel, it just doesn't make any sense. Who uses that? You know, I don't know. So, but still, it's just a personal taste, personal choice. I'm used to the two opposing wheels.
It's really handy, to be
Yeah.
honest. But I mean, my brain now, it just by the way, I work with Canon, so it's just coming clean here. Yeah, I'm used to it. So now when I have to deal with the other ones and I have to change the things, I'm like, oh, where's the...
And to be honest with you, like yesterday or during the 8-hour infamous stream when you were working on the client photos, you're showing me as I was working, I would have to say your editing is really cool. It doesn't... now that I'm looking back in my brain at those photos, they don't necessarily look like Canon photos. So I think it's true, like maybe with the higher end models, you can kind of get out of that look.
I mean, my camera is not super higher end model. You know, there is so many more crazy good.
But it was like one of the flagships when it came out. It's not the most recent one, but it's a good camera.
It's not Canon colors. I don't know. I just said it.
No, it doesn't feel like Canon colors. It feels nice and flat, and
yeah, I bring down the saturation. Like
yeah,
I mean, the saturation not so much. It depends. I have a pre-made how you say
preset
that I work with. Yeah. But the contrast is really like oblivion, like compared to how it come out of the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. See, she's also working with the 6D.
Yeah, I have a 6D Mark. I had the Mark 1, and then it fell from my hip to the ground, body down, so I got a crack, and I still work with it for half a year more, and then I got a 6D Mark 2, which is the one I use now, and the other one body is just in case, the just in case body. I'm happy with it, I can say. I think also the lens I use it that I really like. Going back to Martin here. Okay, let me see. People hear what they're saying.
I really like those photos. You can keep looking at the shot because I can't read that fast. Here we see a lot of more the traditional classic photographs that we see, and the more not the more celebrated, but the usually celebrated photographers that we talk about on the show, where you have interesting composition elements. And this one, for example, you see the contrast in his work. A lot of the time, a lot of the photos that we've seen is more focused on the moment, on what's happening, on the story of the photo, not caring so much about the composition.
The aesthetics, yeah.
So the composition comes second, and I feel like I'm repeating myself now, because yesterday Eva and myself and Cedric, who's with us today, we had a long conversation about composition,
yeah.
and we also talked about this.
And we also mentioned Martin Parr, actually.
That was the second reoccurrence of Martin's name in 1 week in preparing to this day.
Yeah.
So we said it had to be.
We should talk about him. And I think it's an interesting photographer to explore for sure. Eli here is saying, I'm on the fence between an 80D Canon or an Olympus OM5 Mark III. I think I know your answer, Jimmy.
Yep.
Olympus. I would say, actually, if you're going to go for the crop factor Canon, which is an 80D, if you're going to go crop sensor, Olympus.
Yeah.
I would also recommend that. And I think the OMs, we have the OM10 and we have the OM1. OM.
OM is the analog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're beautiful. Really nice. Super nice how they look, how they are hold, the grip, the layout of the buttons. Very nice. I will go for the Olympus if I were you. Definitely.
All right, so you wanna take a look on the books collection and see some of the older work.
Yes.
I think that would be very fun to do.
Yeah.
Let's start. I think this is the oldest one, the one from 82. The one in the top that I...
Can you by any chance hand me the monitor a bit closer?
Oh, absolutely.
Because even with my lenses here...
Is it close enough?
Give it to me. I put it here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Be careful not to unplug anything. Can't believe
it's gonna explode.
I can't believe today for the first time I think we had no issues.
Don't jinx it.
I think the stream is going nice.
Yeah, you guys seeing us properly, hearing us properly. Everyone said that they sync, not like the stream 2 days ago.
yeah, that was messy. Bad Weather by Martin Parr. This one is from 1982. And here we can see the difference in style directly, like completely different from the photographs that we were just looking at.
So what I read is that people, when he jumped from black and white to color, other photographers were like amazed also that he actually did that change and how and actually this
I have to say this one kind of reminds me, it's not very similar, but when I first saw it reminded me of a photo of a photographer that I can't remember right now. And Sham, I think if you're in the chat, you can tell me the name of that photographer. You told me to watch the documentary like 17 times. He's the Brazilian guy. Can you tell me the name?
I don't know. Maybe Shams knows.
She knows.
Okay.
I think the name of the documentary is Salt of the Earth. And his name is... It's coming in a second now. But this photo is reminding me of that. We're gonna cover that photographer in a separate episode. But it's such a beautiful photograph. Salgado, yes.
Salgado.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, there's if you remember that image of the miners, Sebastião Salgado. Thank you, JC. There was a mine. There's a lot of workers, and he's taking it.
Oh yeah. That did we agree that photo was taken with a large format camera?
It has that feeling. We haven't looked it up. We haven't watched the documentary yet.
Yeah.
But I really like this collection. Very nice. Very nice stuff. This was, I think, taken with a flash as well.
I think he has loved the flash since the very early beginning of his career.
Oh. Bye, Cherie. Good luck with the kids.
Yes.
Always nice
to have you. See you soon.
All right, let's see. What do we have next? A fair day.
A fair day.
I want to see the like the progression, where we started.
Yeah.
And where
we're going.
It's so cool that his website has
so much content.
All these images. I mean, as we learned, he's still active, and that's so cool. Somebody who's worked all this much and has all this experience is sharing it. I'm looking forward to the end of this show, to be honest with you, to go check out his YouTube channel.
Yeah, and actually he started his own foundation back in 2014. Like with galleries and a research room, and just to bring it to the people. So I think he's a very generous man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he gave away his photo book collection, which is something.
That is true. That is very generous to do.
Quite different, I would say. There's a lot of photos of people standing, like in different situations. I saw before as well.
I think this is going to be color.
Yeah, this is one of the first color ones.
So we jumped, just to keep track of what we're doing, we jumped from 84 here to 86, 98.
98.
So this is a big collection.
Yeah, I'm not sure how big that one is going to be.
I mean, big across a span of time.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see if the photos are dated.
Yeah, because it says 86 as well there. No? Last resort, 86, 98 down there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's between 86 and 98. So it's across a big span of time.
I guess, yeah, I can see. It's not so much of what he's showing, but I can see how the difference on the use of light as well from the black and white to the color work. This is the one that I'm telling you that it was about the social classes in the UK. Mm-hmm. It's called The Cost of Living, and it's a little bit exploring, that the middle class and how they live and concepts like that.
One Day Trip, 1989.
My year.
Let's read about this while we flip through the photos. One Day Trip, published, blah, blah, blah. I was wondering if there's... I can't read. Can you read?
Wait, let me go to the website. Which book is it?
One Day Trip.
One Day Trip, here.
Employment and wages were down while taxes and prices went up.
The cost of drinks, cigarettes, and paper goods rocketed. British citizens found it more economical to take a quick trip over to France in order to stockpile such items. Parr documented the ferry trips and greed-fueled shopping sprees in French hypermarkets. In One Day Trip, a text by Robert Chesry accompanied by 25 color photos. So it's an exploration of basically the booze cruise that we have here in Sweden, which is very similar to that, because here alcohol is really expensive. So people go to this booze cruise, they call them, is ships that go between here and either Finland or Helsinki, Riga, and oh my God, I don't remember the three countries. Tallinn, Riga, and Helsinki. And because the moment that these boats leave the coast of the countries, they are in international waters, you don't pay taxes. So then you can buy alcohol in the tax-free store on the boat, on top of the boat. Yes. And then people come out with cages of beer and different drinks. So it's a bit similar to that.
But you can see, like,
those are very beautiful. I really like them.
There is more thought in composition in this one, and this one is called Signs of the Time.
Signs of the Time.
You want to tell us what the theme of this?
Signs of the Time. Yeah, here. Okay. Here it says, based on the TV series of the same name, directed by Nick Barkler, this is a vintage and hilarious look at personal taste in the British home, exploring the extraordinary range of emotions that lie behind our household decor. Parr's photography complements Barker's survey of contemporary perceptions of goods and bad taste.
It's interesting because in this one, it's completely different than all of the previous things that we were looking at. And we see, like, when he hit color, and especially with this one, with One Day Trip, you can see that, okay, now we're starting to see similarities, but there is still something about it that makes me, I look at it and I think, okay, classic street photography. I don't know if part of it is the color palette of the old film, or just actually the style of shooting. Because I can tell you there's a there's a difference. And especially when you think of Death by Selfie and Everybody Dance, the collection, the more recent collection, and the one from 2020.
Yeah.
There is you can see it's really interesting because you can see that even though this photographer was doing these things that are, more classic, they still evolved their style kind of with the evolution of time. And I find it very interesting the choices that he made to evolve the style of his framing with the
times.
With the time. I'm curious to see the thought, because like you can have a lot of photographers that are now working, but they're still composing in the classic style. More like even street, even documentary work. You know what I mean? I find that very interesting. I feel like that's what's happening here. It's not like he got sloppy or anything.
No.
For me, it feels like a conscious choice in a way.
I think doing these explorations we're doing is really good to then having the people on the podcast, because we are able to ask them very, very much detailed questions about their work and things we're curious about. And this is one of them. The bored couples one is actually pretty funny.
Let me go to it.
It's not safe for work.
That's what I was like.
I know. That's what you did. No, it's hilarious in a way. It's very nice. So here the description is a softback catalog. Color photographs depict 20 bored couples who have run out of things to say to each other.
Yeah, I can see it in this guy's face.
Yes.
Oi, look at this one.
Yeah.
She's
right?
staring into a wall rather than looking at this guy. It's so funny.
Very interesting photographs.
I'm curious why some of them are upside down. That's cool.
I guess that's part of it.
Part of the fun. You have to keep flipping the book.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because the back side is actually upside down. You'll get there soon. Yeah.
All right. Les unis à deux.
And then we have Home and Abroad. So this is one of the ones that he went out, because before it was everything in the UK mostly. And then he started also traveling a lot. A place that he loves is actually Japan, which I understand why, because it's kind of unique and interesting to document. Yeah, so here is a journey. I am beginning in the ideal home and family. The book follows Parr guided tour through supermarkets, shopping malls, seaside resort, theme parks, tourist hotspots, and safari parks.
This photo is so good.
Which one? Yeah. And also, I mean, these colors, this is early color work. I like it much more than the later color work.
Yeah, I do too.
I have to say. So.
Very nice. Oh, look, it looks like a hat.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything in bored couples? I think I missed, like, there was text maybe?
No.
Let me check. Oh, no. Because some of them have text in the bottom, because Cedric mentioned read one way and then read the other.
Yeah, that's what you mean. That then you look that book that way and then you turn around and then you do it the other way. Ted is asking, why do you think his style dropped to such a low effort with the most recent shoots?
Here's the thing. That's a very tricky question, because I can't assume anything about the amount of effort that is put in any work. There is no way for me to tell, because I wasn't there to do the work. You know, this is an argument that we've had many times so far in other places. I think also on this podcast, is when somebody calls a photo snapshot, assuming that this photo did not take, any work or anything like that. We don't necessarily know, and sometimes you have to know that it depends on the moment. It depends on what you have to sacrifice. Do you sacrifice a nicer, more special moment for a better composition, or do you sacrifice the composition for maybe something that the photographer saw in that moment? And we're flipping through the images. I think for somebody who took the image and curated it, and maybe like if the image was presented in an article or something, we might be like missing something. Like Signs of the Time, bored couples, one day trip, all of these photos instantly, as soon as Eva started to read what it's about, you have more context, and more, the photos immediately bumped into in understanding value. at least to me.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of that is a choice rather than sloppiness or
Low effort.
low
yeah.
effort. You know what I mean? But that's just my take on it. I might be wrong. I might be just defending because I'd like to think that a photographer who does this much work still has the same passion and love to the craft.
Yeah.
That they're not gonna, do it half-handed or anything. I think it's more about experimenting and trying new things. And I think that's what my head jumped into is I think it might be a message in itself in terms to the devaluation of photography as it is in most people's head. And I was one of those people who was like, I don't know if there's any photojournalism. In the photojournalism episode, it's like, I don't know if it's still going on. I don't know who's looking at photos for news. And then I learned that, yeah, there are a lot of publications that dedicate sections in their publications.
Yeah, in their media.
In their media to only photojournalism. And there are still a lot of people who are working there. And it's still as hard as ever been to make a living out of it because that's the name of the game. It is what it is. Like artists in general, they're not, like if you're trying to be successful and make a lot of money, like successful in terms of monetary value, everybody's gonna be like, why go be a finance person? Nobody's gonna tell you to go be an artist. I mean, that's like whether being a musician or any kind of artist, it's known that chances of you making it only from doing that are very slim. So I think even with that, it's important. I think this is one of the main reasons for this show is like it's important to at least give appreciation to all of this work that is being done. And so far we only appreciated people who are already celebrated and known and appreciated. And I think there is no harm in giving them more of that. But hopefully in the future we will talk to people who are just starting out and, and maybe hopefully we can introduce them to a wider audience. Just share and tell everybody about this podcast so we can do that one day. I don't know what I'm saying.
The books, there is some that are pretty weird, interesting. There is one that is called Japonais. I don't even know how to say. I don't have the French gene in me to pronounce these things properly. But it's the Japonais endormi, which if you don't read what it is and you see the photos, you might be wondering, what the heck is that? Do you see there?
Oh, look. Remember what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, the Japanese one. Up.
Where?
There.
I can't
there.
see. Is this one?
Yes.
Cool. All right,
What
guys,
do you think that is?
Don't read.
Don't read.
Is it safe for work? Can I keep...
It is safe for work, yeah.
All right. It's about dandruff.
No.
I'm just kidding. Wait. What is it about?
We're having fun.
Sleeping?
Yes, these are commuters in Japan.
Well, I cheated because I know what endormi means.
These are people sleeping in the commuter trains and in the transportation. Look how close he gets to them. The British food one, which is next to it, is also quite interesting. I mean, he has done a lot of different things, which is cool. Yeah, that's the most typical British food that you can think of, all like right in there in your face.
I mean, look at this with the flag on it. Oh, I actually love this stuff.
English breakfast.
Yeah.
That's how we call it.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Is it keto friendly? Looks like.
I mean, if you skip the bun.
The bun, yeah.
Yeah, you can eat the beans. Maybe too much tomato, but we're gonna walk.
Why is there a couple of hands there? Now you threw me off, Martin. What you wanted to tell me?
I think it's because food is love.
Yeah, it could be, definitely. I mean, it's up to the pro.
So many different kinds of work in this man's collection. Let's look at Mexico.
Mexico. psychedelic.
It is for sure. Here we see the flash.
The flash coming in. Yeah.
This is like starting to
Get closer to what we see
Yeah.
now.
This is one of the photos we looked at yesterday with Cedric,
Yeah.
I think. Chicken feet.
Chicken feet, nice.
This is definitely in Mexico.
Yes. Could be Spain too, though.
Yeah.
No, we're not so much out of the like that level, to be honest.
This is Spain.
This is Benidorm. Yeah, that's Spain.
Weren't we just talking about Benidorm?
Yeah,
like
because
half hour
of
ago?
him. Because we
Well,
saw some
more than-
photos of him. I told you it was one that he said they had a
Oh.
tag of price in Spanish.
Oh, this one. Was
Yeah.
that what triggered the whole conversation
Yeah.
that we went into?
Yeah,
I
that was
see. Completely forgot.
look at that. So Benidorm.
These ones I've seen before, I feel like.
Benidorm became very popular in the 60s because all the European ladies would come to Spain and be topless. And then the
Mhm.
Spanish people in the 60s were still in a dictatorship, and that was crazy to be able to see women in that composture, you know, like men would get crazy about the foreign women coming to Spain and being all loosey-goosey and having bikinis and stuff like that, because in
Uh-huh.
Spain women weren't really not allowed, but it wasn't part of the culture.
It wasn't a thing.
Because, you know, we were in a dictatorship from 39 to all the way to 75.
Okay.
So in the 60s, when things started to be, you know, flower power, hippies, things more open, all these French girls, Swedish like crazy, they would come to Spain to go to the beach, and
Because it's a beautiful beach,
it's a beautiful
nice
beach,
weather.
and and
Yeah.
then, you know, like there's so many like comical, ironic movies from that time that they make fun of, like the foreigners coming to Spain and being like that, like, and all, you know, the horny guys going after the British ladies and the Swedish ladies, and yeah, it's part of our culture, I guess.
This one looks interesting. At least I really like the cover. It's called The Last Resort.
The Last Resort, yeah, that's also. I mean, I think The Last Resort was old, so I think this might be a revisit. Let me check it out.
It's 2009. It's from 86. Yeah, I recognize some
Yeah.
of the pictures that we saw in
Yeah, so maybe it's
this one.
a.
It's a reprint, I think,
Yeah.
because look, it's the same name.
Yeah, that's the
How did I miss that?
The Last Resort. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Anything you find interesting that you want us to click on?
People.
Par by par.
Par by par. Ah, yeah. Did you see the one about his auto self-portraits?
No, which one is it?
Up or down? There, next to the Benidorm.
Auto portrait.
Yeah, it's really hilarious. Auto portraits. Attention.
That's so funny.
And a mugshot, or like, I mean, a photomaton type of photo.
Yeah, these are crazy.
Right.
Actually, did I tell you one time I went to like in Stockholm in Odenplan? I was renewing my passport or something like that,
Yeah.
and I forgot that I needed to have a photo,
Mm-hmm.
like a portrait, basically, to give them so they can put it on the thing,
Yeah.
whatever document I was applying for.
Uh-huh.
And I looked up Google. I was just a photographer, anything I wanted to take photo, and I was standing right next to one.
Mm-hmm.
Like just make a right turn and I'm there. And I go there and it's a super old store. We should go check it out tomorrow, see if it's still there.
Uh-huh.
Because that was like right before I got into analog, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so like 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I go in and it was a bunch of old cameras, very nice older lady behind the counter, super friendly. I was like, hey, I need a photo for like a passport photo, whatever you call it. And she was like, yeah, sure. How many do you want? And I was like, whatever. I said a number, like
4
one.
or
I
one,
wanted
yeah.
one. She's like, I can give you like 2 or something, a minimum. Like she gave me 2 or 4. She gave me a minimum number that she can
Mhm.
give me. I was like, that works fine. It was very cheap. And she took out something like a Polaroid.
Yeah, those are the old ones, and then they peel it out, and it's there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
And
those.
it automatically prints the same photo multiple times.
Yes,
And then she sliced it and gave it to me.
that's how they used to be.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. I had no idea and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
it's
cool.
really cool.
I wonder if I still have that photo. I might have one of them in some wallet.
Nice.
Look at this. So cool. I really like this guy.
Look at this one with the flowers.
I mean, the level of sarcasm,
Right?
and he lets you know immediately, like, here.
Yeah.
I mean,
the cover
if the
itself.
cover wasn't obvious, if the cover was obvious, like, boom, I'm in the mouth of a shark, yo.
Tim, the Polaroid man, he's saying mini portrait Polaroid cameras are cool.
Cool. Do they have, like, how do they use the same film? Like, integral film?
I don't know. I mean,
What film do
Tim
they
will
use?
know.
Let us know, Tim.
Yeah, very funny. I'm really having a good time looking
Right.
at this.
The phone book. This sounds interesting.
I think like this might. It doesn't seem like he
People
will
on
have
the
a lot
phone.
of no safe for work thing, but it's a bit of a lottery here going into random books. It's pack film, he says.
Oh. So, no more.
No more. So you were good to get one of those when you could.
I mean, unless One Instant is... I really hope they succeed. One
mhm.
Instant. I really hope they can, like, scale it and make it happen, or... I don't know.
Mhm.
Did we talk about that when Tim was on? I forget.
About what?
About Polaroid. I wonder,
Not
like,
so
what's the
much.
possibility of bringing pack film? Is like, how... I know that everybody's still using old chemicals, but why don't they make new chemicals? Is it outlawed?
I don't know, or it may be too expensive. There is one called Parking Spaces, which is interesting.
Did I miss it?
It's a white one next to one that says Roma.
There.
Parking Spaces. What do you think it's gonna be before you open?
Parking spaces?
But what kind of parking space?
What kind of parking spaces? Oh, you want to give me a hint?
No, just open it. It's
All
okay.
right.
It's empty parking spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I figured.
I mean, it could have been parking spaces with cool cars or something like that. You know.
But that's not a parking space anymore
Uh-huh.
because it's occupied.
That's true. Parking occupied.
Parking lack of space.
Yeah.
This
So-
looks like Sweden.
Yeah, right. I thought about that too.
All this amount of slush
Yeah.
is rare.
We can check the Japan one maybe.
I want to see this one. Do you think it will
Which
be
one?
safe? Playas.
Playas? Where is it?
This one.
Playas. Playas. Sorry.
Do you think it will be safe?
There might be one ass or two, but
Uh-oh.
I think it's safe.
Oh, look at the dog. This layout is
Right?
fantastic. The amount of colors is from 2009, by the way.
Yeah. It really looks like, it fits well with
You
the
wanted
images.
to see Japan?
Yeah.
What about Urban Outfitters?
I was just checking that one, actually.
Did you look at it on your computer?
Yeah.
Are you cheating?
No, it's just because I want to check if something is not safe for work before we get into it.
Next up, let's check out the Voivod Festival.
Wood Festival.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna look at Japan.
Wood Festival. It's it's okay. It's safe for work.
Is it
It's pretty-
nice?
Well, I mean, not my favorite one, but still not bad.
All right, what am I missing in the chat? Let's see. Tim is letting us know about pack film. The problem with pack film is that the machines no longer exist. So not only do they have to figure out how to make chemistry with current laws and patents, they also need to make expensive machines. And those machines are extremely complicated.
What happened to the machines? Did they throw them away?
Fuji's locked them out in some basement under a basement, or I don't know if they destroyed them. I know the ones from Polaroid do not exist anymore. The people from the Impossible Project, also known as Polaroid now, were able to save one factory,
All right.
but everything else was decommissioned. So what does
so
that
sad.
mean? I don't know what does that mean. Did they sell them for parts? Did they melt them and make jewelry out of them? I don't know what they did to them. But I think, I mean, the way that One Instant is doing it, I think Yeah, they're doing everyone by hand, but I think the biggest limitation to the price is the price of the chemistry.
Yeah.
So I think like if they were able to procure the chemistry cheaper, then it will be possible to lower the price. I mean, the availability is always going to be a problem, but if there is demand, they can be more than like 2-3 peoples, which what it is now that are like actually making the film. Is like group I think less than 5 people who are working on one instant, and they're doing great work, for what it is.
But
really,
it's 5 people, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Tim is saying, as far as I know, Fuji did demolish their machines. What?
Fuji is so
Why?
crazy. So crazy. The Japanese, man, I don't know what happens in their brain.
The Japanese?
That was a very racist statement. I'm sorry.
I mean, when it comes to film, I was checking the one about the souvenirs. Was interesting.
Did I miss it?
No, go down. I think maybe not. It's called souvenirs.
I should be
There,
able
souvenir.
to...
There.
There.
All right.
Don't get upset at me. We're live.
That's him. I'm not upset at you.
Just kidding.
That's him.
Oh,
And
look.
him in Barcelona. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen this one.
Yeah, I think that one is popular. I've seen it around. What's up with your mic?
Nothing. I'm just like reacting. I've seen so much, like, because of the two of us, I wasn't familiar with Martin's work.
I have seen photos, but I didn't know of him.
But I've seen, like, I wasn't familiar with the name. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
But I seem to be very familiar with a lot of the work.
That's what happens. Sometimes the work
What
speaks
is
for
this? Who made the souvenir?
you. Right. Yeah, that's very Spanish. Barcelona, I guess.
Yeah. So he's so assertive, this man. I feel like I am.
It's like, go get that
If
paella.
I don't, I'm, something bad's gonna happen. It's threatening, this advertisement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that definitely looks like Barcelona, by the way.
Yes. The
This-
black and white taxi says Barcelona.
Oh, I was like the background is what kind
Yeah,
of
that
gave me that
also.
vibe. Something about this part here and the walls. Yes, Eli. Everything after the Korean photographer that we talked about first
It's the same
Everything-
guy.
is by Martin Parr. So much different styles of work, so much different vibes, and I don't know. For me, that's the most impressive part of this whole thing.
Right.
Is how how much this
Sorry.
photographer's work. What did you see that made you?
You should go to the bottom. There's one called Toilet Martin. Paper Parr.
All right, let's do this.
I mean, it's just,
This one we saw in Benidorm.
yeah. They are like
This
very
is so
graphic,
cool.
very 70s, right? Even though they weren't taken in the 70s, but the colors and the vibe.
Were they not?
No, I don't think so.
This is published in 2020,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah, but it's
What?
a collection of things. It's the most iconic images from Prophilic archives. This one is so good because you are very like it's putting these two very British things together in a very nice composition.
oh,
Yeah, it's-
this is so cool. These like they look like graphic design to me.
yeah, right.
Yeah, these are so cool. These are my favorite.
I knew you were gonna
Look, what?
enjoy. Yeah, no, I don't want to even think about it. Look at this.
This is whose desktop is that? Please tell me it's his.
I hope.
That it actually looks like that.
That's the one I was laughing about.
All right. So what do you think? Should we wrap it? Let's see his Instagram.
Yeah, it has cool stuff.
I should switch accounts. This account is not. I don't keep up with it.
Ted is saying tapas is the best. Yes, I agree with you, Ted. And then JC is saying the Pisa Tower one, I've seen it since I was a kid. It's very popular, the Pisa Tower photo. Yeah, those are contact sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I love when the photographers do that because I really like to see what did they shot before, after, why do they choose the one they chose, and it's
Mhm.
very nice.
Interesting. A lot more frames than I expected.
For each one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always surprised.
Very nice. I really like the colors of those ones. We already saw it before.
Yeah. So it's not just...
That's 6x7. He used to use with a machina? Machina. Yeah.
Everybody loves the machina nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, he was back in the days, though.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to the frequent asked questions so I can maybe pull out some interesting things to talk about. So, yeah, he used a ring flash. He used a black and white. He used a M3, like M3. And for the 6x7 that he started in the last resort one is a Machina Plowbell with a 55mm lens. And more recently, he got a Mamiya 7. And actually, one thing that is interesting is that we started by showing his Magnum. And actually, it wasn't so easy for him to get into Magnum. We talked last week that in order for a photographer to become a Magnum photographer it has to be a consensus in the board in a sense, because these other photographers that propose people, and then after 2 years, like under revision, then they might get through or not. And apparently the most conservative part of Magnum wasn't so on board with having him as a Magnum photographer. But in the end, he got a 66.6% of the board to say yes, which is what he needed to get into being a Magnum photographer.
The requirement.
Yes. So he says, what did he say here? In politics, this is regarded as a landslide. And actually, he had a spat with Cartier-Bresson, which is interesting. He says that Henri came to the Small World opening in Paris in 95 and said to him that he was from another planet. And Martin says, I always cherish this remark. And I wrote back, I know what you mean by why shoot the messenger.
He seems like such a fun guy. I mean, look at him. He looks so sweet in this video thumbnail.
He does.
I really wish that we can manage to
have him over.
Yeah, and talk to him.
I mean, he seems like a very nice person.
Right?
Why wouldn't he come over and chat with us for 1 hour Friday afternoon, evening?
That'd be nice.
That'd be so nice.
All right. Do you think we should call it today? For today?
Yeah, I think
we've been on for 1.5 hours.
That's our average time. It's very nice. I had a lot of fun looking through these photographs with you guys and with you, Jimmy, and to bring to you the biology photography project. And it was just a very nice episode, I think.
I agree.
And I think this is the moment where we say, if you are listening to this on your audio device,
obviously come watch it.
Please come and watch it with us, even though you have all the links in the show notes and you can go check the photographs.
Are you sure we didn't plan to talk about other stuff? I feel like was I supposed to review this product?
I mean, yeah, that we said that, but I felt like you were through with the topic of the Synstax.
Do you want me to give you my review of the Synstax or not? I was harsh when I was building it. But I feel like before we started, I feel like I was going to be softer. But now, for some reason, maybe being under this light for so long
the spotlight
is bringing out the aggression out of me. So I feel like you're going to get the angry review. Do you want it? Or
are you asking me? Or should I ask our audience?
What do you guys think?
Do you want to hear the honest truth?
Don't buy it. End of review. Don't buy it. Built or not built, I mean,
I think that the issues that we have with it are, regardless of how many hours we spend to mount it or not mount it, the issues that we have with it are intrinsic to the design, which is something that is there, you know.
Can you still get the ResiVault one? I
didn't see it in a long time, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing because it's Polaroid. I want to make one with Fuji, like my whole thing with getting this is that we can shoot Fuji Instax with the Mamiya.
Yeah.
Because I want the Instax color.
Yeah, the ResiVault one for Polaroid makes much more sense. It's such a much better product. And I don't know what's wrong with ResiVault website, but it's all black and I can't click on anything.
Tim is saying that I think it's a good video idea reviewing the product.
No. I don't want to. I don't want to give it more attention than already has, thanks to Willem Verbeek. It's now
And negative feedback
a hot
and like
item.
all of them.
Did
He sent it to all of them.
I only saw the
No negative feedback,
the,
made one
Willem
before
one.
Willem actually.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid. I talked about this in during the 8 hour, but I think nobody's gonna make that point. When you mount this to your camera, it only mounts in two ways. If you mount it to the RZ, you either mount it like this, and so basically the RZ is like this. And if you have a viewfinder, so basically what this doesn't tell you, I don't know. Does it tell you that it doesn't work with the viewfinder?
Where does it tell you? He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have anything.
Oh, that's true. It doesn't work with the viewfinder.
If you have a meter viewfinder in the RC, you cannot use the back.
And forget about the metering. Like I was hoping for it to have like electrical
true.
contract. So forget about the metering. It's not gonna meter, and it's not gonna work because like this, the film hits the viewfinder when it's coming out.
So you have to take the viewfinder out when you have to put it out.
Every time you take a picture, you have to remove the viewfinder. And you will say, "Hey man, it's a rotating bag. Just rotate it." All right, I'll rotate it. Boom. This is how it rotates. Are you freaking kidding me? This is how it is. And then this thing, boom, 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 bumps against the viewfinder. So you can't. The Resivolt ones, even though it doesn't have this thing, it actually mounts like that. So your negative in the normal position spits out like that. And it has a button, so you can click it and it shoots.
Well, that's beyond the point, but
yeah, if I was gonna, I don't know how much. I still don't know how much, but I mean, the guy, he did a lot of great work figuring out the tolerances of how to make this focus on this, right? But you know, if you want a place to put the motor, there you go. Here, I'm giving you tips how to make it better, even though I don't like you. So here, put the motor here, and then reverse the polarity, and then it shoots it with the motor. How about that? Instead of this silly crank.
yeah, I mean there is room for improvement. Let's just say that yeah, those things, they are not very thought through. So
let me be honest. If I'm gonna speak all my mind, this product belongs on Thingiverse for free or a donation. That's all I'm gonna say. This piece right here.
Yeah, because then you basically can print it out yourself, or anybody that has a 3D printer, and just you use it to make your own.
Was I too harsh? I don't care.
I don't want you to get upset.
This was not a free product. We purchased it with our own money. And by the way, even if you ever decide to send us anything after this is gonna be, if I don't like it, I'm gonna say that I don't like it. I don't care.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we are not selling our souls, right? We will be honest about the things that.
And look, I'm still gonna use it, but I'm not happy so much about it. That's what I mean. We paid for it. We're gonna use it.
Yeah, and also it works. Not without its like quirks and stuff, but it works. So we got very nice photos. What's happening?
Are you reading the comment?
He hasn't gotten to acceptance yet, Ted. I'm hoping he gets there at some point.
No, it's fine. Like I don't care, but I thought that everybody's talking like, oh, this, wow, amazing. Yeah, no, it's not.
No, exactly. I think that's the thing. I think there's a lot of hype just because it's an RC product, and it's like everyone out in the interwebs wants to have an RC, and Willem has one, and it's just these YouTubers with RCs, and then this product, so you can now have instant photos with your RC. But if you really use the RC for what it is, which is professional photography, which you can have a prism finder that you see very well while you're focusing, even a meter prism finder, you are losing a lot of the capability of the camera with this product. So it is at its best a prototype, or 1.0, let's say, revolution of the product. And then in order to be as good as it seems for what people say, it has a lot of work yet to do.
Yeah, I mean, and look, there is a lot more that I could say about this whole interaction, but I'm gonna keep it to myself. If you want to know more, you can talk to me privately, and I will tell you exactly some of the reasons why I'm actually pissed. Like, there's more to this, so I'm just gonna keep it there. There's justification to my upsetness about this whole attitude about this product. And like even Eva was more diplomatic and nice and better person in general. She just said it's true, because I immediately felt that, and it kept proving itself as we went through with the process.
I had also my suspicions, but
Yeah.
my greediness to be able to take Fuji's with a good lens took over my sense.
Yeah.
And then I made you be 8 hours without Dremel. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I had so much fun playing with it. Like I got the Dremel. Actually, I did get the Dremel to make this product before.
Yeah.
I have a somewhat working prototype of Instax Mini that I put together, and I just got bored with it because we had like to move around and a lot of life events. So it's on the side, but that's the reason why I got the Dremel, right? And when the opportunity arose to do it with the Instax Square instead, and I was like, okay, now I have a nice template here to work with. And I was excited about I didn't even see so much about the product. That's why I was surprised. I was like, really? It works like this? Like it doesn't do this? It doesn't do that? I was expected more in my head.
Mhm.
That's my fault, right? But I was happy to use the Dremel for the purpose that I bought it for.
Yeah. I think for the Fuji Mini, the Instax Mini, I think we should try to go ahead and do it for the 645 because it's actually the same size almost. The Instax Mini is a 645
Yeah, I've done
frame.
it actually. I have some photos of Jessie and Twix,
Yeah, so
my sister and my dog, that we played around with before I break that camera and like take the pieces, the cuts out. And we put them in the... Actually, those I put in the RZ.
Okay, so so maybe with
So I put in the RZ and then I put it in the dark bag and take it out. But what you're saying is that you want to put it on the 645. Do we have any bad 645 backs?
No, we don't, but they're not so expensive. We got a 220 back.
Is
No,
it-
that was only the insert. It
Mm.
wasn't the back.
Yeah.
No, we have 2 bags actually, I think.
But we don't have a bad one. The
No.
RZ bag that I took apart was bad. So I was
Yeah, I
like,
know.
I can either fix the light seals or have a
it for
toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Eli, I did not try do panorama with anything else, but it basically works the same. I just like I just like that it's super easy to modify the viewfinder of the GW because it's a rangefinder window, so you can just slap some foam in there. You can buy them in art supply store. You saw in the video. Just go get decor foam. I think in Sweden it's called decor gummi. So I'm assuming it's decor foam in English.
Or yeah.
Yeah, just like thin foam, and you can cut to the dimensions that I. Yeah. But no, it basically works the same. So if you're using a 6x7 camera, it's gonna be a shorter panorama.
Yeah.
Which gets you more pictures. I think you can get more pictures with any camera than the Fuji 6x9 because of the...
Escape capped. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like that, when you put it in the mode, it will allow you only to take 16 photos.
You have to remember to put it in 220 mode, and it will lock at 16 photos. Otherwise, I think, like, let's say if you use a Mamiya, you do the same thing, and then you can, if you put it in 220 mode, it will give you 20 pictures. Like, it will lock at 20 pictures. It will start basically just rolling the film at 20 pictures.
Which Mamiya?
The RB, for example. I'm thinking
20?
of the RB.
Why 20?
Because the back...
the 220. When you put the 220 film, right?
Some backs are compatible.
Yeah.
With 220, 120. Same with the RZ. As you hit the last frame, the camera will just start rolling.
So the panorama is 9 centimeters long and 24 millimeters tall, which is the
wide. 20.
Yeah, tall and wide.
So like this is two and a half, and like this is 9.
Very panorama.
Yeah, very nice.
I really love the ones you took with the Fuji in that for that panorama video. It was very nice.
The black and white ones that I've done also.
Some
with portraits, I really like panorama for portraits.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's adds a lot of like environment to the shot.
It's cinematic.
Yeah,
as well.
It does feel like it's from a movie.
Yeah, definitely.
How did we go from the super nice mild vibes of Martin Parr to crazy me ranting about this?
You said it was the light.
Probably, yeah, it was probably the light.
But yeah, I guess this is it for today and this week.
I think it's
I want to
It's-
go and develop some film.
yes. We gotta develop. We shot something. We might make a video out of it. So stay tuned.
Yeah, very
Thank
nice.
you everybody for watching. We love you all for joining us every week, and we see you next time.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed today and see you next Friday. Bye, guys.
Peace.